crash will come 20 years after my departure if things go on like this. He died in 1898. The public was told the founder of the German Empire had retired due to ill health. His thanks was the title Duke of Lauenburg, useful only for when I want to travel incognito, Bismarck quipped. The Iron Chancellor retired to his estates, vengefully bitter towards Wilhelm. Jena came 20 years after the death of Frederick the Great. The crash will come 20 years after my departure if things go on like this. He died in 1898. 20 years later, Wilhelm fled across the Dutch border into exile as the German Empire collapsed around him. The Kaiser now had full control over German policy, and he intended to use it, embarking upon what became known as the New Course. His replacement for the Iron Chancellor was Leopold von Caprivi, at 59 the model of a competent, efficient and stoic Prussian officer. Devoted to his work, he would normally have been a good choice, but Caprivi had been given a near impossible task. Both the German constitution and the country's place in the European system had been engineered to revolve almost entirely around Bismarck. With his sudden dismissal, Caprivi was left to pick up the pieces, whilst Wilhelm bounced from one idea to another. I know I shall be covered with mud and that I shall fall ingloriously, the new Chancellor muttered. The Kaiser is like a balloon, Bismarck had once said of Wilhelm. If you don't keep fast hold of the string, you never know where he will be off to. Having got a taste for power, Wilhelm desired a chancellor that would now merely be a vessel for his concept of personal rule, allowing him to govern Germany as he saw fit. I shall take a younger man, the Kaiser declared. On the 29th of October, he appointed Prince Hohenlohe, aged 75. An old and experienced statesman, by this point he was physically decrepit and did his best to avoid the job, knowing he didn't have the strength or stamina for it. This suited Wilhelm, who thought a barely sentient coffin dodger would be less inclined to block his meddling. Hohenlohe, like a tarrying grandfather, tried to moderate the Kaiser's tendencies, but to no avail. By 1897 he had effectively given up. Almost 80 years old, tired, ill, totally indolent, and completely passive, was his successor's assessment. The unrestrained freedom brought out the worst in Wilhelm. Whilst the German machinery of government was always efficient and largely able to carry out the daily tasks of running the country seamlessly, the ship was effectively rudderless, as the Kaiser bounced from one idea to another, suggesting a grandiose scheme at breakfast only to drop it by dinner. Wilhelm had his grip on Germany, but Germany's grip on European politics was rapidly slipping away.